All right, good morning and welcome to the launch of the University of Maryland, Baltimore Global Hub. In a few moments, we'll hear from UMB President, Dr. Bruce Jarrell, and later the leaders of the Global Hub initiative. We'll also see and hear from some of your colleagues who are already engaged in education, research, and service delivery programs around the globe. The intent of the Global Hub, of course, is to assist and enable the university community and our global partners to engage in further work. So later in today's program, you'll have a chance to ask the Global Hub team any questions you may have. Please write those questions in the Q&A area. Of course, we'd like to hear from you directly in your own voice, but if you prefer to have your question read aloud, please let us know that. Now, let me introduce you to UMB President, Dr. Bruce Jarrell.
Greetings, pleasure to be here. Today's webinar is to celebrate the launch of UMB's new Global Hub. Our global enterprise extends around the world, and it's a critically important part, not just for our research, but also for helping other countries develop their skills and having opportunities for our students to visit there. And this Global Hub represents a new major investment to support these research, teaching, and service opportunities. The Global Hub actually is a website, a database, an interactive map, but it's also a group of experts standing behind it who know a lot about global engagement, and they're definitely here to help you. I can remember times when there were times that we needed strong people in the background. I can remember times when sick faculty needed to be evacuated, and we figured that out. I can remember times when we had people in countries that had wars break out or coups break out, and we needed to get them out. And so having at your fingertip data, knowing where people are so that we can help them is really an important thing. This Global Hub came about because of an initiative we took back in 2020 with the American Council for Education, ACE. The ACE had a program called internationalization, which at the time, we're not sure what that meant, but what we learned was it was really to put structure around our many global programs so that we could manage them and help them in a more informed way. And so what's happened is the Global Hub. It is a strong campus administrative structure and a central database that's going to be at your fingertips with interactive. And when you see this map in a few minutes, I hope you'll not only be surprised and pleased, but proud that we have this type of resource at your fingertip. Global education is also in UMB's strategic plan. And part of the Global Hub also has a major education component to it. We are making our online courses available to associates in other countries. And of course, we will have our students travel safely to these other countries to have experiences there. I'm even slated to go to Nigeria at the end of this academic year, June of 2023. I'm going there to visit our associate, the Institute for Human Virology, Nigeria's new building. We're doing a ribbon cutting, and I know that I will have the Global Hub standing behind me if there are any issues that come up during that visit. I don't expect any, but of course it's the unexpected you need to be prepared for. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and get to the main show here. And let me start off by introducing Professor Virginia Rowthorn, UMB's Vice President for Global Engagement and one of the co-directors of the Global Hub Initiative. Virginia.
Thank you, Dr. Jarrell. Thank you for your introduction and for hosting this virtual town hall to launch the Global Hub. And thank you also for your strong support of UMB's global engagement and taking the recommendations in the internationalization report from a glimmer in our collective eyes to this amazing resource that we are going to preview today. Our faculty, staff, and students asked for the Global Hub so that we can deliver exceptional programs, understand and manage risk, and achieve our university mission of improving the global condition. This is an incredibly important investment on the part of the university that will undergird and grow our strong global portfolio. I want to set the context for what activities the hub will support. So how important is global engagement at UMB? It's very important. Here are just a few highlights. The university is home to 2 internationally renowned research, service, and training centers: the Institute for Human Virology and its Center for International Health, Education, and Biosecurity, also known as CHEB, and the Center for Vaccine Development and Global Health, or CVD. The Institute for Human Virology has a 40-year history working closely with collaborators in multiple countries, particularly in the area of HIV and AIDS. And in 2017 was the recipient of a $100 million grant from the CDC to work alongside the Nigerian Ministry of Health in completing the 2018 Nigeria HIV Indicator and Impact Survey. In 2021, UMB had 181 active subawards to entities in 34 different countries under the leadership of UMB investigators in 23 departments and in 5 schools, for a total of $167.5 million in subawards. According to a 2019 survey done by the Faculty Senate, 10% of UMB faculty are involved in global education, research, or service. In terms of scholarship, during the internationalization process, we also determined that between 2015 and 2020, 5,243 papers were written by UMB faculty with international colleagues. Every school on campus has a course or track focused on global content and at least 1 international program for students. We have several new degree and certificate programs on campus, including the MS in Global Health through the graduate school and the new Global Health track in the School of Medicine. And finally, we're attracting new philanthropic support to support our global engagement. And we have donor support for programs in Israel, Costa Rica, and Malawi. So global engagement is truly very important on this campus, and the Global Hub is here to support that engagement. So on that note, I'm so pleased to introduce Anna Schoengert, my fellow co-director of the Global Hub Initiative, who just joined UMB in September. She is the Assistant Vice President for International Operations. Anna brings over 25 years of leadership experience in the global development and humanitarian assistance sectors, including with Catholic Relief Services, Save the Children, and the International Youth Foundation. She lived and worked for 7 years in Liberia, Uganda, in Iraq, managing country offices and leading complex emergency responses and economic and social development programs. She led global teams and institutional functions to generate and manage over $300 million in grants, in new awards from bilateral, multilateral, and private institutional funders. We're so happy to have you here, Anna. Welcome, and I will turn it over to you now.
Thanks, Virginia. Hi, everybody. First, let me start off by saying how thrilled I am to be part of UMB and of this university-wide strategic investment in global engagement. In the last month that I've been here, I've begun to get a handle on the tremendous breadth and quality of UMB's education, research, and service activities taking place outside the US. And from my own professional background and experience, I'm well aware of the potential for UMB to expand and deepen its global work. You've just heard Dr. Gerald and Virginia tell us the why for the Global Hub, how it was born out of and is tied to UMB's strategic goals, and how it has a mandate to help meet needs across the UMB community. I want to talk about the what. So what is the Global Hub? Simply put, it's a new service for all schools, centers, and departments across UMB who are or are interested in running programs and learning opportunities, conducting research, and developing partnerships outside the United States. We see ourselves as a customer service center, and our customers are the faculty, staff, students, and global partners who lead and take part in international activities. Our aim is to provide a one-stop shop where faculty, staff, and students engaging in global activities can come with their questions. Our Global Hub website, which Hertie will demonstrate for you in a minute, will be a place for you to get personalized support and advice from our team, find information on university policies and procedures, and link to other UMB sites and resources you'll need as you move forward. The Global Hub will support the UMB community to understand and follow university policies, business processes, and best practice standards. We focus on a range of functions that are not always visible and can sometimes be overlooked, but they are critical to ensure international programs happen safely, efficiently, and cost-effectively, in compliance with the laws and requirements of countries where the activity is taking place, and in consideration of equity and inclusion in a global context. Those functions I'm referring to include international partnership development, course and curriculum design, procurement, safety and security, travel, human resources, information technology, and other operational and program elements that can benefit from specialized expertise in an international context. We're building our team of specialists to provide this expertise. The Global Hub is bringing together two departments who share a common focus: the Center for Global Engagement, or CGE, which many of you know well, and a new department structure at UMB, the Department for International Operations, which some of you may previously have known as the International Affiliate Support Team, and is growing to include experts in those functions. Each department leverages knowledge and experience, and we're committed to working seamlessly together to meet the needs of UMB. I do want to emphasize that the Global Hub and the departments that comprise it are not replacing duties and capacities in your schools and departments. We're not your department's travel administrators, or your procurement officers, or the holders of most UMB policies and procedures that pertain to international activity. What we are is a support service to help you and your teams use those resources, understand global contexts, and get things done outside the US. We do have some ability to provide more direct support. For example, we can activate our international affiliate, the Maryland Global Initiatives Corporation, or MGIC, which is a mechanism that can be an effective way to purchase goods and services outside the US, but has not been as widely used across UMB as it could be. Another example where the Global Hub can be more directly involved is in the negotiation of memoranda of understanding and vendor contracts with international partners. We will look at all of these options as we work with you to find solutions to your needs. And finally, in addition to the customer-facing aspect of the Global Hub, our other equally important responsibility is to work with schools and departments to update and improve policies and procedures that apply outside the US. We know there are gaps to fill and upgrades to UMB's policy infrastructure that are needed to achieve its strategic vision of global engagement. We've been working on a number of those over the past year and have heard good feedback that those improvements are already a big help. We're focusing quite a lot right now on UMB's travel policy in partnership with the Controller's Office and the travel administrator community, making sure UMB's procedures for international travel in particular are as user-friendly as possible, while minimizing risk to travelers and the university as a whole, and ensuring good stewardship of university resources. So that's the vision for the Global Hub. A lot of people at UMB have been hard at work bringing this vision to life for over a year, including Virginia and my colleague, Hertie Cortez-Diaz, the Director of Risk Management in the International Operations Department, who is now going to give you a short demo. Over to you, Hertie.
Thank you, Anna, and good morning to all. So Anna and Virginia introduced the why and what at this town hall. During these next couple of minutes, I will try to talk about the where. Where is the Global Hub? Now, if you bear with me just 1 minute, I will share my screen and lead you to the where. Hopefully you're seeing the website, University of Maryland-Global Hub. So you'll notice that this website is an electronic forum for guides and resources from different functions. We received your feedback and we tried to co-locate all relevant resources into one place. You do not have to muddle through various departmental web pages anymore. On this website, there are 4 main tabs. We have divided the information into these sections to facilitate your navigation. Now the first, international travel. Here on this website, the Global Hub clarifies the latest requirements and recommendations for international travel. UMB's guidance has changed a lot over the pandemic, and as you restart and reconsider international travel, this is where you should start. Now, on this page, like many that will follow, you will note that you can always find helpful links to other related resources interspersed throughout the page. Here at the top right-hand side, you'll find related policies and procedures, such as travel procedures for UMB employees and travel procedures for non-employees. Then, as you scroll down towards the left, you'll find more links, such as the international travel related links, where you'll find forms and travel attestation and risk acknowledgement forms for faculty and staff and students alike. Then, as you scroll further down, you'll notice the general travel links, where we have added some additional helpful sites that will lead you to more information about lodging, meals and per diem, and reimbursement, some of the more important ones to call out. After all of our discussions and conversations with travel administrators and frequent travelers, we end the page with frequently asked questions as an additional tool and guide. We compose these travel resources and have tried to make them intuitive. Now, I am sure that there will be many more questions and our team will try to address them as you contact the Global Hub. Now to scroll back up to the top to our second tab, Plan of Global Activities. This page, like many others, focus around the different specialties Anna mentioned. Each section goes into great detail, but some of the ones I would like to highlight today are international finance and procurement, global collaborations and partnerships, academic experiences abroad, and international MOUs. As we click through the international MOUs, you will notice that we have tried to streamline this process as much as possible. If you need more information about Memorandum of Understanding between UMB and an international partner, then you can now find detailed processes explaining roles and responsibilities and the checklist that support your planning. As you scroll through this web page, you'll notice that we follow the same template as the international travel page. General information is focused at the center with additional resources and links on the left-hand side. And then we close out the page with the frequently asked questions. Now, I did not demonstrate this before, but as you click on the bolded question, the website will expand and show the response. So which MOU is right for me, may you ask? The web page will show the responses and details and any supporting documentation. So here you can find templates or examples in Word document and as a PDF version as well. Now, as we scroll back up to the top of the page to go to our third section, we will go to the one I'm most excited about, the UMB Global Footprint. In my time at UMB, my understanding of the university's international presence has always been quite murky. Most of my knowledge has come from select direct interaction with researchers and staff members that were implementing activity in a couple of countries. This has always left me wondering if there was more. So as you click on the UMB Global Footprint, you will be redirected to a map and database that shows that my initial assumption was correct. This map demonstrates that UMB is in over 50 countries. Now, this section took a lot of effort, and as you may recall from Dr. Gerald's introduction, this database formed as part of UMB's strategic plan. It was not easy, but our database development team has worked on establishing data feeds from UMB's project and activity management systems, such as Kuali and Cicero. We believe we have captured about 90% of UMB's international activity through the data feeds and overall manual entry. That said, if you don't find your international project on the map, please let us know so we can add it. Now, quickly, I will try to demonstrate how to navigate the information on the map. At any point, you can hover on a country, Mali, for example, and you'll notice that it will pre-populate and answer that there are 32 active or recently active awards in the country of Mali. As you click on the map itself, the pop-up window will list out all of the projects that are relevant to the country of Mali. As you click through the blue text, you will notice that it will provide additional information regarding that project, such as project title, the UMB school unit that's implementing, the sponsor, and start dates. Now, this data varies slightly as you click through depending on our source of information. But if you want any more information regarding any specific project, please feel free to contact globaltimore@umaryland.edu. Now, to close back out, in addition to the map, you can also find the exact same information through the search fields down below. The map allows you to search geographically, while the fields and filters allow you to search through other mechanisms. Now, for example, here under UMB School, if I select School of Nursing and click Submit, the page will pre-populate the results for the active projects that are being implemented by the School of Nursing. So for example, we can click on this last one, Simulation Train the Trainer Program for Liberian Nurses. And we will see the project title, school, a project summary, and a website. I'll give you a couple more seconds to read through, but as we close out, and as you're done with the database and research the database, and scroll to the back top right-hand side, you can click back to Global Hub so that you're redirected to the main site. Now, lastly, our fourth and last tab, Contact Us. This site exists to help you reach our hub. If you're at the beginning stages of a project idea or don't really know what help you need, we have drafted an intake questionnaire that is designed to capture as much or as little information as you have right now, so that our Global Hub team can best engage you in figuring it out. So we have general information and then activity general information as well. And as we click back out and go back to the main site, you will notice that if the activity intake questionnaire is not for you, and if you have a more specific question or concern, you can write to the Global Hub email address, globalhub@maryland.edu, and we'll try to respond to you as promptly as possible. And as always, if you want to reach one of our two departments directly, our contact information is found below. So thank you for your attention as I briefly walked you through our website. Now I will transition you back to Virginia, who will guide us through the examples of international activities.
Thank you so much, Gertie. That's so exciting. I know we've wanted a resource like this for so long, and that was such a great demonstration. Thank you. So we are now going to bring the Global Hub to life with some real examples using short videos of UMB projects taking place around the world. And we hope these videos will inspire you to consider expanding your work onto the global stage and we can explain how the Global Hub can help. The first video is about a law school collaboration with the University of Malawi Chancellor College Faculty of Law. Law school faculty from both schools partnered to launch an innovative seminar called the Environmental Justice, Human Rights, and Public Health Seminar. Law students from our campus and Malawi law students meet virtually and work on projects together. There is also an in-person element to the course that brings Malawian students and faculty to Baltimore and our students and faculty to Malawi. So Alex, if you can play the video, and then we'll have some commentary.
If you look at the project that we're working on, you see that there are a number of commonalities within Maryland and Malawi, especially when it comes to the juxtaposition of our university with the underprivileged people just around us. But one of the most important things that we are doing with the students especially is to expose them to international academic networks, one, and then to expose them to working with students from a different cultural background. That, as we all know, is extremely valuable for students at this stage. And I'm sure that the networks that they're forging now will be invaluable even in future.
We are working with the University of Malawi and their environmental law clinic. A big part of their problem is water quality, right? Because of climate change, reduced volume of water. But increasing population puts an increased pollution load on water. So the concentration of pollution, reduced water, increased pollution, is going up exponentially, and that's something that needs to be addressed. So the course is an online Zoom course where we have lecturers from the University of Malawi and from the University of Maryland focused on Malawi law, Malawi issues, and then we have student teams of Malawi and Maryland students working together on projects that are designed around Malawi environmental challenges.
The project is also enabling us to identify new research areas that we want to engage in with our students.
The program for me was life-changing. It defined my career. Being able to interact with issues in Malawi at a deeper level, it defined for me the fact that I know I'm going to practice as an energy law practitioner. And that's not something that I would not have discovered at this time if it weren't for the program.
We're training professionals on this campus, be they doctors, dentists, lawyers, but everybody's a problem solver in their own sphere. And I think doing this kind of work forces students in this country to strip the assumptions that they have as to how to deal with a problem through the law, say, and have to come at it with a completely fresh, blank slate, which really allows creativity and problem solving to flourish. There's a wealth of different ways the Hub, I think, can help and support this kind of a program.
Thank you. That is such a wonderful program out of our law school and a great video. So having been part of the team that created this program, I know how many complex elements had to be navigated to make it a success. Planning education abroad is both very exciting and also very difficult. A particular challenge we had with this program was trying to find and pay for housing and ground transport for the UMB team. The hotel we identified in Zomba, where the law school is, was unable to enter into a contract to reserve rooms. And I ended up paying for the stay of the entire group on my personal credit card and waiting months for reimbursement. And we know that that's not best practices. It was also difficult to pay for local transportation in advance. The Global Hub has experts in international procurement who can help procure lodging and transportation overseas. The Hub can also help UMB international travelers navigate the informal service provider economy. Another area where we needed support with this program was understanding considerations around student safety and helping students develop situational awareness in such areas as when and if to hire local taxis. These are the things that the Global Hub has the expertise to support through safety and security briefings and advice. On the flip side, the Global Hub can provide support when our collaborators visit Baltimore. We have immigration experts and staff knowledgeable about visits from foreign delegations. Overall, the team that created this innovative program in Malawi would have really greatly benefited from having the services of the Global Hub. And we warmly welcome anyone planning education abroad to reach out to the Global Hub for support. So now I'll turn it back over to Herdy.
Thank you, Virginia, for that excellent example from the law school in Malawi. The next video that I'll introduce is about the field of gastroenterology in Rwanda from the School of Medicine. The technical details will be shared by Dr. Eric von Rosenvinge in the next couple of seconds, but you will note that the success of the project is only possible by the close collaborations with the Ministry of Health, the University Teaching Hospital, and the local partner, the Rwanda Society for Endoscopy. So Alex, if you could please share the video.
The program's entitled Energizing Gastroenterology Development in Rwanda, and our goal is really to help the Rwandan people by improving gastroenterology care and really by improving the ability of Rwandan physicians and nurses to provide gastroenterology and especially endoscopy related care. They've had very limited gastroenterology resources. We're trying to support them in developing capacity as well as developing their educational training programs, and then at the same time allow for our university trainees, University of Maryland trainees, to travel to Rwanda and learn about global health. What I'm really hoping for is that that exposure will allow for our students to see advanced pathology, so that can help them when they come back. They're more familiar with different physical exam findings, for instance, or endoscopic findings. We've started a gastroenterology fellowship program in Rwanda, the first ever. If they can train within, then ultimately the goal will be that they don't need faculty members from the University of Maryland or other countries to come in and help them. They will be self-sustaining. They will be able to train their own trainees and really be able to develop a program to care for their people. It's thanks to the University of Maryland and resources provided that are giving the Rwandans opportunities like that.
So as Dr. Eric von Rosenvinge alludes in the video, there are many academic components to this project, allowing UMB to support by developing bidirectional educational training programs, including a fellowship. When I first encountered this project, Dr. Eric von Rosenvinge and his team had been working for months on trying to pay the project's local partner and other individuals in the country of Rwanda. They experienced many procedural complications, which led to a month-long delay. We acknowledged that the fees are important to our partners, and they were counting on our engagements, which was truly an obligation. At the time, we were able to use the MJEC mechanism, UMB's affiliate, that had a presence in Rwanda to fast-track the payment for travel logistics and training participation. Over the past 2 years, as we have been working on establishing the Global Hub, our teams kept the frameworks around UMB's core values in mind. Equity and justice resonated strongly when we discussed this project's hurdles. As UMB works outside of the United States, it's important that we continue to be good partners. We should comply with our engagements, remit payments promptly and accordingly with local regulations. The Global Hub and its specialists will try to facilitate these processes, and we hope that projects such as Dr. von Rosenvinge can continue to flourish over the next couple of years. Now I'll transition you over back to Anna for the next project.
Thanks, Herdy. This final video is about a project in the Gambia, led by Dr. Veronica Ngie Carr in the School of Nursing and her collaborator, Dr. Henry Silverman in the School of Medicine. The project is called Strengthening Capacity in Health Research Ethics and Research Methodology. The program is designed to train Gambian scholars in research ethics, research methods, and other essential leadership and pedagogical competencies. Take it away, Alex.
The project is the Gambia Research Ethics and Methodology Initiative, and we are implementing the program in the Gambia, which is in West Africa. The challenge here is that the number of non-communicable diseases and the number of people being affected, it's more than the capacity in terms of the science. So that's what we need to develop. What I've found is that there's a lot of development gap in terms of having brilliant scholars coming in, but they don't have the mentorship and training to be able to perform well in their responsibilities. Think about students we have here. If they don't have the structured mentorship, if they don't have the guidance and the training, then they don't perform as well. So similarly in the Gambia. I think there's mutual benefits in terms of learning the culture, in terms of how do they handle some of the challenges that we are handling and they're doing it better. And of course, one of the things that would always come forth is the idea of what African philosophers call Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is the notion of I am because of other people around me, right? So I cannot be if I don't connect and interact with others.
So this video showcases an innovative capacity building project supported by the President's Global Impact Fund, PGIF. PGIF is managed by the Center for Global Engagement and provides initial support for transformative initiatives so that they can grow on the path to external funding and donor support. Dr. Njie Carr was able to build on her connections in the Gambia and her prior collaboration with Dr. Silverman to build an interprofessional and international collaboration to support Gambian researchers and strengthen Gambian research institutions. This is exactly the kind of reciprocal collaboration supported by UMB's Global Strategic Plan. The PGIF seed grant helped Dr. Njie Carr and her team secure a National Institutes of Health Fogarty Grant Award to continue and expand their work. The NIH funding will pay for tuition and fees for trainees, professional development activities, and a formal mentoring program. The Global Hub can help UMB faculty develop seed funding proposals and international partnerships like this one. We have expertise in different models of partnerships. We can help prepare MOUs, develop observership programs, and assist with other elements of programmatic partnerships and the many operational aspects that come alongside these international activities. Virginia is going to put the links to the PGIF page in the chat function here, and also a link to a video that describes other PGIF projects. I want to put in a short plug for PGIF and say that it will open for new applications on January 9th, 2 months from now, for funding starting on July 1st, 2023. So that's it for our review of our videos and of the projects that the Global Hub can help support. And we now have some good time for Q&A. We'd love to hear your questions. If you have a question for the Global Hub, please type it into the Q&A space on this webinar platform. We'll select a few of those questions to address here. And if yours is one that we have time to select, we will ask you to open your mic, if you can, and share your question for everyone to hear. And even if we can't get to all of the questions, we will take them back and follow up with you, and they will help us improve the frequently asked questions on the Global Hub website. But to start, I think we have a couple of questions that have already come in. One is from Dr. Gerald. Dr. Gerald, over to you.
Hi, Anna, I'm here. First of all, I really enjoyed your conversation and your presentation. It was impressive to see that map. So I actually had a question for Herdy on that map. You know what I didn't see there, Herdy, was the principal investigator. If that data is available, that sure would be useful to know who the PI is. But that wasn't my question. I remember when we started this program, the number of sign-offs we had to get to do these things was, do I remember right? Was it really 8? And 8 signatures is an awful lot to get to. Where do we stand on that now, Herdy?
Thank you for your question, Dr. Gerald. So as you noted, during the pandemic, UMB changed its guidance. And so in addition to the e-travel form, there was a requirement for an essential travel DocuSign form that required 8 signatures total in some circumstances. Now, that is no longer the case. E-travel pre-authorization is still required and recommended, but now we have a risk traveler attestation form and risk acknowledgement, and that only requires 1 signature. And that is your own signature, so the traveler should be signing off. And then in circumstances when the destination is considered to be high or extreme risk, we will include 1 additional review and sign off provided by our team. But we hope to simplify this process as much as possible and hope that the community appreciates, because we definitely understand and receive the feedback on the extraneous circumstances and all the signatures that were required before.
How would I figure out the high risk part? Is that on the SOS website, or do you have opinions about that?
Correct. So we also, one of the items that we've done is we've changed our overall guidance. And so now we are following the International SOS recommendations. And so just to take everyone back to our Global Hub International Travel webpage, we have a few steps that are recommended for international travel for faculty, staff, and students. And the second one is to check if you're traveling to a high-risk destination. And so here you will see the step-by-step process on how to follow the International SOS website and find out the overall rating for your destination. Hopefully that answers your question, Dr. Darrow.
It does. Thank you, Herdy.
Thanks, Herdy and Dr. Gerald. Virginia, I think I'm handing it over to you to facilitate a couple other questions that have come in.
Well, we have one question that came in that asked whether the Global Hub can help plan education abroad programs. And so I want to say yes, very much so. On the website, we have some resources, including a checklist to help you even start to think about what it would look like for you as a faculty member to lead and develop an education abroad program. So the checklist walks you through what organization you would partner with, and to consider the curricular and academic issues. And once you go through the checklist, then the Global Hub will be happy to meet, or we can just arrange a meeting to talk about how planning might look. So the areas that we help with are, as I said, academic and curricular considerations. And of course, we can't do that all because everyone is in their own individual school, but we do have a great deal of experience working with the different schools and also creating interprofessional programs, which requires understanding the different school requirements and calendars and things like that. We can also help with the advertising and application process so that students learn about the opportunity and can apply for it. We offer pre-departure training, which is something that will be both have cultural dimensions to it as well as safety and security elements. So it's a great link between the International Operations Department and the Center for Global Engagement. And then we can also help with the logistics around things that we've mentioned in this town hall, such as reserving hotel or lodging, transportation, paying honorary or per diem overseas. So the answer is yes. If you're even considering an education abroad program, please come to the Global Hub and let's talk about it, and we can help you plan. And I will say it's it almost takes a year to get a program off the ground, if not longer. So just keep that in mind. So Anna, we got a question in the chat about using travel agents. And the question is, why do we have to use a travel agent? And I know that there's some work still happening in this area, so I just wanted to ask you that question.
Sure. The question is, why do we need to use a travel agent? I think there are a variety of reasons. I know that sometimes using a travel agent can feel tedious, and sometimes there are additional costs that are associated with certain travel agents and certain fares. However, there are important safety, security, risk management, and financial stewardship benefits to working through a travel agent as well. So there are pros and cons. I think probably everybody in the UMB community has heard about an upcoming improvement to the university's travel and expense system. It's called Concur. It will be launched in the next few months. It is being led by and owned by our controller's office. So they know a lot more than I can say about that system, but they're working hard to make that travel and expense system user-friendly, easy to work with, and also meeting the standards of security and risk management that we need to for international travel as well as for domestic travel. So we need to use the travel agents for the risk mitigation reasons primarily, and we are working hard to make sure that that is not a tedious, burdensome step in planning your travel. So thanks for that question. Stay tuned, we're working on it, and please do reach out to your travel administrators and to our folks in the Global Hub for any specific questions about international travel, and we'll work with you to make it as easy as possible.
Thank you, Anna. We got another email, and it's about the use of PGIF funds. So PGIF again stands for President's Global Impact Fund, and the question is, are these state funds? Yes, they are. And are we able to use them to pay international partners? And the answer is yes. The issue then on the more practical note is the question is, how do we pay international collaborators and partners? How will the money get sent to our partners? So Hurdy, I'm going to turn this over to you, because essentially this was the issue with the Rwanda project, and they were PGIF fund, and Hurdy's shop was able to transfer funds to those partners. Hurdy.
Thank you, Virginia. So as you noted, this is something that we facilitated in the past. And as Anna noted earlier on, we are expanding our team to have specialists, financial and procurement specialists that are familiar working in a more widely international environment. So depending on the country, there will be different types of payment mechanisms that are preferred. And through the MJEC mechanism, we're able to leverage those. So in Rwanda, for example, we were able to make a bank transfer between the bank account that we have in Rwanda and the local employees. They were quite happy because it was able to facilitate, and they had access to their funds much quicker. But there have been other circumstances where it hasn't been a bank transfer. In certain countries, the popularity of mobile money has increased, and it's a more informal economy, and we're able to leverage those systems, at least through MJEC, in order to make those payments. Hopefully that's able to provide some sort of clarity, I think, to our audience, that we have some flexibility there, but we still are following at least all of the regulations either provided by the University System of Maryland or the state and any related sponsors.
Thank you so much, Hurdy. And I think that answers that question. But if there's any more follow-up needed to the questioner, please go ahead and put more comments in the Q&A. We had one question that asked whether we'll be offering this webinar again. And the answer is probably not in this format, but we are going to post the link to this video. It's being recorded And so that will be available. And also, again, if you have any remaining questions, feel free to reach out to the Global Hub, and Alex put the link in the chat. So we have another question. The question is, how does your office interface with the research administrators and procurement staff at the faculty's respective school when the faculty member approaches our staff for assistance with their international applications? So I think what that question is asking is will the Global Hub interact with people in your school, individual school, who are also work on similar issues, sort of the contracting issues? And the answer is yes. I'll start and then see if Anna or Herdy want to add anything. The Global Hub is designed as a support organization to provide assistance, but also to support but not replace the school's officials who work on these matters. So the interaction it's going to be individual for each type of practice, but you can be sure that we won't work in a siloed manner. There'll be constant communication to make sure that any research grant or any process is happening overseas, that there's coordination between the university-wide structures and the school structures. And that's something that we're dedicated to. I don't know if you want to add anything to Anna or Herdy, but that is our goal, to make sure that we don't replace those administrators who are already working in this area.
Maybe I'll also add, Virginia, that practically, if the person who has the question completes that questionnaire, the intake questionnaire in our Global Hub website, or sends an email to the Global Hub email address that Herdy showed in his demo, that request is going to be assigned to one of our staff, who is going to be the accompanier, the point person within the whole Global Hub for working with that person on figuring out the answers to their questions and helping them get the resources they need. And that person, that assigned person, kind of like a help desk function, will be liaising with a lot of other people probably in our Global Hub across CGE and international operations, because very often those questions involve both program design as well as some operational back-end support. So we will make sure, and we'll work hard to make sure, that we are collaborating and communicating internally within the Global Hub, and that your colleague has a primary point of contact to be engaged with back and forth, as Virginia said, throughout the need for our services.
Thank you, Anna. So the next question is something, Anna or Herdy, if you want to take it. It's, can you explain where the international travel attestation form goes after it is completed by the traveler? And this is a form that Herdy demonstrated. It's the new form to determine where the traveler is going and it's very dependent on where the location is. Also, how does the traveler access the completed form to attach it to their travel requests? Good question.
So I can take that question. So currently we have a travel attestation form for faculty, staff, and students. We are working, and hopefully we hope to have it live soon, on a form for non-employees as well. Now, to address, I think, the anonymous question right now, the form is through DocuSign, and once the form is completed, there should be a copy is sent to the person that completes it, but it's also sent to our team. So we will have a repository of those forms at any point. Once the person completes the form, since there are no additional signatures that are required, it's just their own signature, it should be readily available to print or download as a PDF. And that's how the individual should be able to access it, whether through that mechanism or through their email, in order to attach it to their e-travel request in the e-travel system.
Thank you, Herdy. So I don't see any more questions in the Q&A. We have a few more minutes if anyone wants to load some questions. As I said, this is being recorded, so we will send out the link to the video, and any questions that have been generated, we're happy to meet about them. here is a question coming in. Are there any fees for using the services? No, there are no fees for using these services. So these services are part of the university investment to promote global engagement, and it's part of this strategic plan of the university. So please come with all your questions and issues, and we will not charge back. Well, Alex, do you have any other questions you see coming in?
No, I don't. That looks like everything.
Dr. Gerald, any last thoughts?
Just a pleasure to hear all of this and to be a part of it. We've needed this kind of resource for a long time. So now, Virginia and Anna and Herdy, you have great expectations. I'm looking forward to delivering. So thank you for all this.
Well, I can say on behalf of the Global Hub team, it's been 18 months, I think, in development. Today is a very exciting day. And thank you, Dr. Gerald and Dr. Ward and Dr. Rhodes and other UMB leadership who really made this a priority. And we're ready to receive your questions and your input and your feedback. And I guess we'll give you everyone back 4 minutes, but this has been a pleasure.
Thank you all.
Thank you.